Ducati, and welcome to Vallelunga for the FIM Enel MotoE World Championship presentation. We are here in one of the most beautiful and iconic tracks in Italy to celebrate the developments for an exciting 2023 season. MotoE has increased its prestige by becoming a championship. Ducati joined the series developing electric prototypes. Enel and Michelin remain key protagonists in making this competition grow. 1 week ago, the MotoE riders were finally able to try the new bike at Jerez. So let's start by seeing the highlights of the event. We saw a glimpse of Enel charges and some of the action here in Vallelunga, where Alex De Angelis developed the V21L. But now it's time to welcome to Francesco Starace, Enel CEO. Please come on the stage. Carmelo Ezpeleta, CEO of Dorna Sports. Claudio Domenicali, CEO of Ducati Motor Holding. And Giovani Copioli, the FIM Vice-President. Welcome. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Yes, take a seat, please. Francesco, I start with you. What this sponsorship means for Enel?
You know, we have a very simple theory. We never sponsor single athletes. We never sponsor teams. So here we don't sponsor a rider. We don't sponsor a team. Actually, we do because there is only one. But we sponsor the championship. And we think it's a great idea because we are deeply convinced that electrifying the transportation on wheels, for wheels to wheels, it's going to be very important for our planet and for our future in the next coming years. And we think sponsoring such an event, such a championship, is a great way to explain and to demonstrate how this technology is today much better, and it will continue to improve through competitions like this. So it's a way of promoting electrification of mobility.
Can we identify the motorsports industry as a way to design and try out innovative solutions that can be applied to daily life?
Well, this happens with these competitions in all kinds of sports. You know, this is the extreme effort of, you know, beating the other player, the other competitor, and so you're pushing the technology to limits. And of course, out of this effort, you find solutions that are then applicable for everyday's employment and everyday's use of the machine. So, as it happened for other competitions, Formula One, NASCAR, and so forth, these races really are fun. They're a fantastic show. They are entertaining, but they are also a way of pushing technology and therefore improving the materials, improving the solutions, getting new solutions, and making these technologies much more efficient, much more easy to use, and also more common in day-to-day employment. So the reason why we're interested is because it is a very powerful way of accelerating the technology development.
One more question for you. Can MotoE serve to improve the transition toward the electrification of mobility in our daily lives?
Yeah, I think it will. Actually, I think if it's in front of us, for example, what is happening with electric bicycles, it's something that all of a sudden becomes quite common for many people to use. You know, I ride bikes, but I also have some electric bikes. And they themselves improve too. So in our common life, we will absorb and we will observe a continuous penetration of this kind of technologies in the next years. At the beginning, it seems strange, but then it becomes more and more obvious. And the improvements are at the root of this penetration. If things don't improve, we don't accept. But if they do improve, we employ and we use them more and more. So I think that's really what drives this technology, the continuous improvement.
Thank you, Francesco. And now I would like to know, why Dorna introduced MotoE? Carmelo.
Well, welcome. Thank you to be here. From the beginning, when we started with that, and from the beginning we were talking with Enel, for us it has been in the aim of Dorna and in general of the motorsport to be update to any kind of new technologies. Then when the electricity start to come important for the mobility, we thought that this is important. Any kind of improvement during the last 100 years has been made through the competition. That means the cars, the bikes, everything first has to start competing, and then all the improvement has been coming for this way. We thought 4 years ago exactly the same. We share these ideas with Enel, and at this moment we talk with Energica, and I will say thank you very much for these 4 years to Energica. And the idea was to develop together with the best teams in the MotoGP, in the best scenarios as the MotoGP teams, with the same television of MotoGP, to provide a new technology moving in the best level we can. This was the idea, and we are happy. We are very happy after these 4 years that realize that every time the races are better, and now with the new step with Ducati, of course, it's another level and will be even better. We, as everybody knows, provide the people who run this bike, they are teams of the MotoGP championship, and now this year the FIM Enel MotoE become World Championship. We are following what we think, but the important thing is to be one tool for the industry to develop new technologies.
And how does MotoE fit with the other historical category of the company?
Sorry?
How the MotoE fit with the other category of the company?
Well, the idea is to be as everything we do in MotoGP is to try to be better every day. That means we are not happy. Every year when we start any kind of championship, we think the following year needs to be better of the year before. Then this is the idea, to try to improve together. If it is not just the bike, the work made by Enel, for all this technology would seem easy, but move all around the world, the charges, everything. We start in Jerez 4 years ago, and the first experience was we fire everything. Then this is something, and we together decided to improve that. And I think today the situation of the Enel MotoE Championship is completely different, and we know much more than we know 4 years ago. I think in 4 years' time we will say the same again.
Okay, excellent experience. So, FIM had an important role in building up MotoE Championship. Let me ask to Giovanni, how important is this electric category for the federation now that the collaboration between FIM and Dorna goes beyond bikes with the internal combustion engine?
Yes, I think it's very important project this because the FIM have so much interest to sustainability, because sustainability in this world is very, very important. And this project, I think, is to collaboration with Dorna and Enel and especially Ducati is a very interesting project. And this year, I think, is very, very for the all the people love the MotoE, but the Moto in general is this very, very interesting project.
And now it's time to introduce the new arrival in MotoE, Claudio Domenicali. We have already seen the V21 Elon track, but why has Ducati chosen to be in MotoE?
First of all, thank you for everyone being here, and it's a big pleasure for us because it's very strategical in our strategy. Sustainability again is a core pillar, and you need to do something. Otherwise, it's only talking. And so when actually Carmelo came and said, "Can we do something better? Can we challenge the status of technology that we have with the previous manufacturer?" We made some kind of thinking because it's a very complex project, but then we decided it made absolutely sense because we really wanted to develop the best performance electrical motorcycle ever made, so it was a big challenge. And as has been said before, competition challenges you to try to move the boundary. And so for us, it's a kind of a moving laboratory. We are building up a team. We build up a team with different competence. Most probably Ducati is one of the best in the world in building high-performance internal combustion engine. And now we are thinking about the future. Electrification is for sure one of the solutions. Internal combustion engine with e-fuel is a potential other solution, but we wanted to understand reality. And Ducati is about racing, so if there is the first electrical motorcycle for Ducati, couldn't be any different than a racing bike, because Ducati is about emotion, sport, passion, and so that's perfect.
Okay, but such a change requires your company organization to be adapted and acquire new competence. Could you explain to us what you have put in place, please?
Not in detail, otherwise would not be fantastic. Not to have all the other competitors to understand exactly, but in a nutshell, we are hiring people. We are very much connected with the university, so we love to hire young people. And so we have a very young team. We have only one person, which is Roberto Canè, which is here, which is a bit more senior, has a lot of experience, but around him there is a lot of young enthusiasts. Fun enough, we have a lot of ladies in this project. I don't know if it is Roberto, which actually is managing that, or actually if we are pursuing, but it's very interesting. Apparently it seems that in the electrical field you can find more technicians that are even female, and that's it's interesting for us because we want even diversity as part of our goals as a company. So we are putting together a team of people, we are experimenting, and every time we have on the racetrack, we learn something new. The very nice thing about the project is that we have the bike here. The bike just was tested by the riders 1 week ago, but we are already developing the second generation. And so this is a fully, and we were together with Roberto in a conference call with US discussing a new type of battery. So it's very exciting because the technology moves much quicker here. So the internal combustion engine is always a little bit of tiny steps, while here you make gigantic steps. So it's very exciting.
We will speak with Roberto. But now another question for you, the last one. When we will see an electric Ducati on the street?
That's the most probably the most asked question. And the answer is kind of pretty clear. We started this project of the MotoE setting up targets. So we wanted to achieve a certain weight, a certain performance, a certain lap time, and we designed a bike around that target. We set up the same type of target for the production replica of this motorcycle. And to be honest, technology now is not ready to match this target. Why we want to achieve this target? Because we want to get, once you will have the bike on the street, the same type of feeling and emotion that you get with this bike, which actually already the rider says is very good, but actually it's a bit of exotic things around. So it's a lot of carbon fiber machine from the billet, so it's quite a bit of an expensive piece of machine. When you want to translate into a production version, we need a lighter battery set, which actually is in development. So, as I was said, we were just together with Roberto this week discussing this type of battery. There are other types, but they are in kind of development. So we may see 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, difficult to say now exactly. Let's say we have a target. As soon as the target is matched, we will have the bike ready for our passionate Ducatisti.
So not coming very, very soon.
Not coming very, very soon.
Okay.
Long story short, yes.
Thank you for sharing this information. And now the journalists on site or connecting or streaming will ask their questions. We start
Hello. Question for Claudio Domenicali. You are a very skilled and fast rider. I would like to know if you are curious to test the MotoE or if you already tested.
Actually, I tested the bike already, and I tested the bike in Mugello last year. Everyone was very worried. When I came into the pits, everyone was kind of, whoa, what happened now? And by the way, the bike is super easy, you know. Also Alex was there. Of course, my pace is not that of a professional racer, so I'm just an amateur. But after 2 corners, you forget you are on an electric motorcycle and you just think about riding. You feel it's a very racing-oriented motorcycle by shapes, dimension, ergonomics. What is most important is that the feeling of the throttle, it's very, very similar to a normal bike. So, because with software, you can replicate the torque to twist ratio that you have in a conventional motorcycle, and it's very easy to play. So soon, immediately, you start concentrating in doing the proper line, and you forget that. So it's nothing strange. So it's very, very nice.
Thank you.
Carlo Florenzano, good morning to everybody. So first of all, I want to say that 5 years ago, Loris Capirosi, which is a very good friend, told me that he was trying he was testing the prototypes of MotoE around the world. And at that time, I am a very old guy, of course, I said, why not to produce a washing machine with a 4-stroke engine? So it looks to me something crazy. After 5 years, we see that it was possible, and this bike looks very much like a conventional bike. And this, of course, for an old guy is something very good. But my question is, due to the fact that the bike has not the same structure of a conventional bike, I mean, has no exhaust, no gas tank, no airbox, will we see in the future completely different motorcycles?
It's for me the question?
Sì.
You are the people who make bikes. We make races.
I think that as I was saying, technology will change much more quicker, and so every manufacturer will decide their own way. It's very flexible, and then the bike is designed like this because we thought to use the battery pack as the main frame. This is a kind of a concept in which there is no frame in the motorcycle, if you look at that, while in the previous motorcycle there was one battery pack within a frame. But this is typical Ducati philosophy. We have no frame, even in our Panigale, we have a very small frame in the front, so we use that as a stress member. Within the battery pack, there are more than 1,000 cells. And so you can play with the cell as you want. You could change the shape. Yeah? You could make the bike much wider with the hole on the top to put a helmet. So actually, it's much more flexible what you could do, depending on which type of vehicle you want to achieve. For us, main target was ergonomics, because it's a racing bike. So what you have that resemble the fuel tank, but actually, of course, is not a fuel tank, as a shape which has been designed around the arms that can move when you lean forward in a typical modern riding style. You know, the rider now are leaning a lot, and they need the tank to be, and the seat and the fairing. So it's always been designed around ergonomics, and then we wanted the bike to be also sexy. And so this is the reason why our design studio played a lot around that, and it looks a kind of a nice conventional motorcycle, like a nice racing motorcycle, but it's you could do even very different.
Okay, now we have some questions on streaming, and the first one is our colleague Manuel Pesino.
Hello, gentlemen. Good afternoon here from Spain. I have 3 questions. I don't know who is going to answer, but you decide. The first of all, I would like to know the coverage that Dorna will give, TV coverage, to this championship, and if he knows what DAZN, Sky, or BT Sport are going to do with this championship. Which kind of coverage will it have?
Well, this is a category of the MotoGP World Championship, and we'll have the treatment of the MotoGP World Championship. Obviously, depending on the schedule or whatever, but the treatment from all the broadcasters who are working for us, it's this category will be available for any of them and will be broadcast live in any time. Then it's a category of the World Championship.
Second question.
Yes, thank you, Carmelo. Another thing, I have seen that the lineup of this championship, only 3 riders out of 18 are not Italians or Spanish. I can imagine that is a choice from the teams, and that is very legitimate. Have you considered trying to make it a little bit more international, or to create a kind of a satellite team where riders from different countries can join this championship to make it more popular or more viewable, if this word exists?
Well, Manuel, this is the World Championship. That means it's for the best riders in the world. If the best riders are Italian and Spanish, the only solution is the other people to compete with them. We cannot tell to the teams to try anybody who is another nationality if they are not interested. Of course, it's the interest of Dorna and all the MotoGP family to have riders not in this, just in this category, in all the categories, to have riders from the nationalities. It's for that we have the talent caps and other things like that. But at the moment, this is competition. It's free competition, and I'm very proud that the best riders possible are participating in the championship.
The last one, Manuel.
Team where they can rotate riders from different countries when the championship arrives in different countries. For example, I don't know if it has been considered.
No, we didn't understand, Manuel. For whom is the question? And can you repeat, please?
No.
No, did you get it?
Yes,
Yeah.
was not our idea. I repeat, this is a category of the World Championship exactly the same day, exactly the same. We cannot say to any people when arrive to. It's a decision. The structure of the championship is made by manufacturers, by independent teams, and by Dorna. Then we arrived to an agreement with all of them to participate in the championship, and the decision to who participate in every races is the decision of the team.
Thank you, Mario.
Thank you, Carmelo.
And now, Thomas.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello gentlemen, I hope you can hear me. I have a question to Claudio Domenicali. We could see the first tests in Jerez that were mostly in dumb conditions, but the bikes were still fast. I would like to know what are the comments of the riders. Did they surprise you? Did you learn anything special? Are you happy about the way this first test session occurred? Thank you very much.
Yes. The first test, when you take the bike out of the development rider and then you get to the racers that will have to go in the championship, is always a bit frightening because you get out from an environment, you know, and it's a kind of when you get to examination, you know. Finally, we were able, after 3 days of very damped track, to get below the previous lap record, and that tells the whole story. Mainly riders were very happy, many things, many details to improve, but that's normal. So we are super mega happy, and I think that the team, Roberto is still a job, so he's still here. So that shows that actually the test result was okay. But joke apart, it's for us something to be very proud, because it's the first time we produce an electrical motorcycle. Of course, we put a lot of energy and resource into that, but it's something completely new. We didn't know that. And then you get to be compared with the previous manufacturer that had a lot of experience as born as an electric manufacturer. So in theory, we have a better potential, but then you have to show. And the stopwatch, you cannot convince him if it's not appropriate. So yes, we learn different things to improve. And as I said also before, we already think of second generation of the motorcycle that will come in some years. We have a 4-year program, so it's and this is very important, and it's only the beginning for us. And as we say, having also 18 riders that race the bike, you get a lot of feedback, and so different opinions. Someone likes more one thing, more the other, and that's a lot also to develop really our knowledge.
Okay, the last question for the first Q&A session. On streaming. No?
We lost the streaming.
Yes, we lost the streaming. So.
Hello? Hello?
No.
Hello?
Here
Sorry.
we are.
Pietro De Mani of Paddock. I have a question to Mr. Carmelo Ezpeleta. This year, both MotoE races will be on Saturday. And I would like to ask, what is the main objective that Dorna wants to achieve with the decision of have both MotoE races on Saturday? And what are the positive and negative aspects that have been evaluated for this scenario? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, this year we, as everybody knows, we make a new schedule for the races, and we consider that the best exposure for the possibilities of MotoE, and also together with the sprint races, we think Saturday will give a new improvement of the spectators, and it's the case. We already have the information that for the first races, the sales of the tickets for Saturday has improved more than 70%. And we think with the schedule we provide from this year, Saturday is the best position to attract more spectators.
Thank you. Thank you also for the questions. Let me now invite on the stage Alex De Angelis to join the CEOs For the photo opportunity, just for the photo now. Okay, all together. Next to the bike.
Una moto.
Io...
Fantastico.
Bene.
Can I take a picture with you, please?
Yeah, of
Thank
course.
you.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all of you.
Sì, c'è vero. Ma da tanto tempo che non vado più.
Yeah.
No, falla tu.
I know it's
Bellissimo.
difficult to leave the bike, but you have to sit.
Bellissimo.
Thank you very much. Thank
Che la
you.
lasciano
Thank
provare, a me
you.
non mi
Thank you.
lasciano. Certo. Però
Okay, after this introduction about the reason why the different companies connected their know-how to make real the MotoE World Championship, let me invite on the stage Elisabetta Ripa, CEO of Enel Way. Welcome, Elisabetta. Thank you for being
and
here
good
with
morning
us.
to everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. So, Elisabetta, what is Enel Way's commitment to e-motorsport?
But it was a great commitment, of course. For us, it's a fantastic opportunity to test all our technologies in a very extreme situation and very performing opportunities. And as Mr. Starace mentioned, for us, it's a way of putting all together all our technologies, not only charging, that is our main activities, but also storage and solar panel in order to produce a renewable source of energies. So it's a great opportunity to test and then move all the innovation that we deliver in such extreme occasion and opportunity on the road in normal life.
So, can you better illustrate the technology specifically developed for MotoE?
We have developed many technologies, not only for MotoE, but also for all the activities related to motorsport, where we have been involved since a while. Of course, we are, as charging partners, fully dedicated to develop charging, very high-performing chargers that will allow us to reducing the timing and increase the powers, competing with the solution that, of course, we are delivering in this situation. But we are also here and really keen to study whatever is related to charging activities in such extreme situation, especially for security. That is an area where, of course, we are fully dedicated and focused. And also getting from who is driving this fantastic motor, all the feedback needed in order to improve our services.
Thank you, Elisabetta. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you here with us. And now we get more deep into this competition, knowing the dynamics which make possible the FIM Enel MotoE World Championship. And we do it with Michele Cecchini, head of e-motorsport of Enel Way. Nicolas Goubert, MotoE Executive Director for Dorna. Roberto Canet, E-Mobility Director for Ducati Motor Holding. And Philippe Jacquin, Senior Vice President of Tire Development at Michelin. Welcome, everyone. You can take a seat. Let's start from Nicola. From this year, MotoE is a championship. Can you explain what does it mean and how it has been possible?
Yes, we went from a World Cup for the first 4 years to a World Championship title this year. And we had to fulfill 3 requirements from the FIM. First one was to have international riders. That's something we've had from the beginning, but I've just put on the slide you're going to see in a few seconds the variety of riders we had. I know that Manolo Vecino, one of the first guy to ask questions, said that we had many Italians and Spanish, which is true. But actually we have as well Eric Granado, you know, from Brazil. From the other side of the world, we have a Japanese rider called Okubo-san. I could not mention the first World Cup winner with Matteo Ferrari, who is Italian. And then I put as well 2 examples of Spanish riders because they're quite special riders, one of them being a girl. And we have not that many in the motorsport area. And the last one I want to mention is Tito Rabat, who is a very experienced rider who was a few years ago a world champion, Moto2 world champion. The second thing we had to achieve is the number of events we have to have during the season. And that's something we started with 4 years ago, and we have increased the number of events all through the years to reach 8, which was the minimum required by the FIM to get the title. So we will be from Le Mans GP to Misano GP, alongside the MotoGP races for all the European events. The third requirement was for the events to occur in more than 6 different countries, and actually we'll reach 7. So these were the 3 requirements to be able to have the World Championship title.
And MotoE is a sustainable series. Can you explain why and what you need to achieve this goal?
Yeah, you know, actually, when you talk about an electric series, everybody thinks it's automatically a very sustainable series. I would say yes and no. Yes, because the bike is electric, but no, because to be fully sustainable, you know, it's a never-ending job. But something I'm sure about is that we need the help of all the partners engaged. And we're very, very pleased to see how all the partners engaged the challenge by using the series as proving ground to develop new technology, more sustainable, implementing real innovation. And I will list 3 here. First one, to start with Michele, because at the beginning, you know, we used biodiesel generators to feed the chargers. And quite quickly, Enel X-Way developed very specific chargers which allowed us to get rid of the generators. The second one with Philippe is about Michelin. Michelin, of course, kept improving the performance on track on the tires. But at the same time, for MotoE, they implement more and more durable material in the tires, reaching a very high number that Philippe will tell you about later on. And then, last but not least, we have now a new bike provider with Ducati, and my old friends from Ducati. They all have made a tremendous job coming up with a very light electric racing bike, which will allow us to race in whatever the MotoGP track is, whatever the conditions are. And that's a great achievement, but I'm sure that Robo will explain to you why. So I will go back to Michele and let him explain to you what job they've been making.
Yeah, Michele, what is the Enel X-Way's commitment to e-motorsport?
Motorsport for us means testing, trying, maybe sometimes breaking something. This is natural, it's motorsport. Trying to see what are the limits and then to improve these limits And working with these guys, I think that the beauty of doing these things together is that we work with the real experts of the technology of the specific market. We are talking about bikes, and they know what they are talking about. But working together, we can better understand what are the requirements, what we need to do, what we need to understand, what we need to improve. So again, it's a never-ending process where we talk, where we improve, where we test, where we do things together to achieve an impossible target sometimes. But this is what we like. We like motorsport because normally
Impossible is what you said at the beginning.
Yes. Initially you say it's impossible. Then with the time you say, okay, we can get there. It's very, very ambitious. The point of what we are doing is making something very ambitious because, you know, in the end, we want to demonstrate that everything can be more sustainable, must be more sustainable. There is a matter of a responsibility in what we do. So we know that doing this in this specific context, working in motorsport, we can demonstrate to all the industries that we can do it. There is a bit of resistance in each industry, but showing that it's possible, even where sometimes feels like it's not possible, then we get there and we demonstrate to the market that everything can be done. And I think that this is the major topic for us. Testing, of course, then grabbing something from the motorsport and put it into the automotive or the motorbike market, and working on the sustainability team, making sure that there is something concrete that is coming.
But I know you would like to show us some images, a video.
An energetic video.
Energetic video, wow.
Yes, yes.
Let's see. Wow, you were right. Michele, could you better now illustrate the technology specifically developed for MotoE?
Sure. The idea, as previously said, was initially, okay, we need to do something that is strongly sustainable. So a new system, a new ecosystem, a microgrid that would have accepted the best practices in terms of, managing energy in the proper way. We love energy, that's clear, and we need to make sure that everything is used properly at the best. So, of course, together with Dorna, we thought about the best approach, and the way was to make sure that the production of the energy was coming from renewable solution. So a bit comes from the network, but we need to make sure that it's renewable. A bit comes from the solar paneling solution. So you know that we have 60 solar panels on our e-paddock, and we produce up to 26 kilowatt of energy through the solar panel of a big power. And this is just how you bring energy in. And then you must distribute the energy to all the bikes. And you need to make sure that you have energy whenever you need it. So we decided to use a battery storage system. We have such a huge battery storage system, split it into the way roll all together. Just to give you a reference, it's 1 megawatt hour of energy stored and ready to be used. Because when you have to charge 20 motorbikes together, or 18, it depends, you need a lot of energy power available instantaneously. And so that's the reason why we created the highly integrated way roll. That is a combination of fast charging, battery system integrated, and making sure that everything is managed correctly, not only in the, in the box, but also on the pit lane and on the grid start. Because as you know, you need a bit of energy just to get ready for the race, and just after maybe an installation lap. So in this way, I think that we put together something extremely effective when we talk about energy. We don't like to waste energy.
Thank you, Michele. Philippe, I come to you for asking why did Michelin join MotoE?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Actually, strategically speaking, at Michelin, we believe that in the future, everything will be sustainable. And when now motorsport is turning to sustainable motorsport, there is for sure a connection. In this connection, it makes a lot of sense because those races are very interesting bench on which we can experience technologies at a certain level of scale and showcasing the fact that sustainability comes with performance. There is no trade-off. And for example, I won't disclose all the results that you get out of what you did earlier this month at Jerez, but you outperformed the lap times, and we also increased the level of sustainable raw material that we had in the tire. So it comes together, and that makes a lot of sense. And it's paving the way for new technologies, not only for motorbikes, but for tires also.
Can you be more specific about what you do to be sustainable for MotoE?
There are several aspects as far as being a sustainable tire manufacturer in the future, but the one we focus on in MotoE is sustainable raw material in the tires. So basically, in the rear tire that you can see there, you would peel oranges and lemon and take the peel of these natural, I would say, elements and bring resins that are in the tires. You would harvest sunflowers and put some oil of this harvest in the tire. You would grow hevea trees and get hevea rubber in this tire. You would collect disposed steel and have recycled steel. You would take used tires, maybe some from previous races, and reprocess those tires to get recycled carbon black. And all that builds a tire with more than 50% sustainable raw material on the motorbikes, whilst getting to a high level of performance. That's what you see in the tire. Then there is a lot that you don't see that's behind the scenes, but you learn a lot about processing those raw materials. When we pioneers, with the pioneers, like we do on those races, we are taking a leading step in terms of being able to process those new materials in our value chain. We also are developing our engineers because there is a lot to relearn and reskill in our engineers to get to sustainability. And so motorsport is an e-bike, technologically speaking, is a key asset for us to be sustainable in the very near future.
And now the new arrived, Roberto. How have you achieved the performance target given by Dorna?
Yes. I don't know if it works, okay. First of all, let's sum up what were the targets. We discussed a lot with Nicolas at the beginning of the project. The main goal was to get a very lightweight bike. Because, you know, especially for racing, and Claudio was saying it before, you have to have a very lightweight motorcycle in order to be able to ride it. And also the bike will be safer because it's easier to handle it. So the first goal, Dorna said, was to have a bike that weighed less than 237 kilograms. The second target, main important target, was to be capable of riding in all the tracks we decided in every condition of weather. And at the end, to get quite competitive lap time, but Nicolas was sure we would get that anyway, that target. We could choose two different paths. One was to have a heavier motorcycle, or a motorcycle that would get the target with more power. But we decided to go further. We decided to get a motorcycle that is even lighter of what we were asked for. To achieve the goals, to ride everywhere and to let the rider get their best lap time. Moreover, we worked a lot on the weight distribution in order to get the best distribution like a proper racing motorcycle. I would like to spend a few other words, thank you, on the system. Another point that was very important to achieve the goal, especially to ride everywhere, is the cooling system. The cooling system is very important because, you know, the battery gets hot, and especially the cell cannot withstand very high temperatures, so we had to work a lot on that. We did it, and we got a special system that is electronic controlled that water cools the battery, and so we are able to run everywhere, and especially we're also able to start immediately on the track as soon as the battery is charged.
So if you want,
okay, no, you have the microphone.
If we want one day to go to Malaysia and do a 15-minute race,
we will do it. Okay, sure. Okay. It's not only a matter of battery, also the other systems are very important for the motorcycle. And so the motor and inverters too are very important because, you know, the inverter we chose, it's a special edition of a racing inverter that has a very high efficiency, again, to reduce as much as possible the heat and to get the more distance we can. Again, it's a lightweight piece, but most important, the motor, we could achieve a very high, powerful motor in a very limited weight. So, and just to say a word on the motor, he is able to regenerate the power from the rear tire, so we were able to not to use the rear brake, but only the front one, that is a racing edition of front brake. I think that's it. Back to you.
Very, very good, Roberto. You already have one test with the MotoE riders. What are their impressions?
Okay, their impressions were great, in my opinion, because, you know, we ran on a in a terrible condition. The first day was terrible because it was raining, hardly raining. So I expected bad comments from rider, but I was very surprised. Let me say, almost all riders at the beginning, after the very first test session, gave very good feedbacks, and most of them had feedbacks also on the electronics. You know, the electronics is coming from Ducati courses, so I expected good comments, but not as good as I received. And especially they told that on the wet they could have troubles if the electronics weren't helping them. So very good feedbacks on the in hard rain. And the second day we could run with slick tire, and we had immediately very good lap times. So I'm very happy about that.
I would like to check this impression and this feedback. So I invite on the stage Alex De Angelis. Please, Alex. The Ducati MotoE test rider. Come here with me. How are you, Alex?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, thank you. You raced in MotoE. Then, in the last couple of years, you have been involved in the Ducati MotoE development. How did you live this challenge?
First of all, I have been very, very lucky that Ducati chose me like a tester rider, because last year we came actually here for the first test, and I tried the bike that was already ready to race. So in the end, I spent 1 year riding and trying to give as more information as I can to Ducati course. And I couldn't like lose the first test of all the riders. So I went also in Jerez to see, and it was really something interesting to see the first lap with all the riders riding, let's say, also my bike. Like I felt like my bike, and I felt something, an emotion. It was a real emotion. So thank you again to come here.
Your smile says a lot.
Yes, as always. When I'm happy, it's easy to see.
So I know there are other questions from the audience and on streaming. Let's start the second session of Q&A. So let's start with the streaming. There is one question. Thomas again. Thomas, can you hear me?
One of the questions to Roberto. Were you surprised by how easy it was to set up the electronics? Because Energica, the previous manufacturer, didn't have that type of traction control, for instance. And for me, it's the one of the biggest technological gains that you can offer to the riders. Do you think that the main time games will come from the electronics in this season to come? Thank you very much.
Yes, I don't know of the previous manufacturer, but I know of our electronics. As I told, it comes from the racing, so it's an electronics that is suitable for racing, developed by Ducati course during a long time, and especially for MotoGP and World Superbike. I don't want to give the message that the performance comes only from electronics. That's not true, to be honest. It comes from a lot of different parts that are made, that makes this fantastic motorcycle. For example, the vehicle, all the parts were designed, simulated, designed to be at that right place, behaving the right way. So the motorcycle is a racing motorcycle. The motor itself is a motor that is specially built for this championship with all the knowledge coming from Ducati. Ducati R&D and Ducati Corse, because I want to remember that this project is made by both souls of Ducati, the production and the racing one.
Thank you. Another question from Pietro.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Pietro Demani of Paddock. I have a couple of questions to Mr. Canet. The first one is that the Ducati MotoE is the first two-wheeler application of 800 voltage technology. I would like to ask what are the advantages of such a high voltage level? And the second question is how much is the aerodynamics important for the Ducati MotoE? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Very, very interesting. We chosen the 800 volt because there is a technical advantage on that. If you increase the voltage, given the power, you decrease the current. And the current is a problem for electric electricity in general, because you need thick wires to be efficient in order to avoid to waste energy and having some hot in the bike. So we decided to go at, let me say, more or less at the limit of the voltage in electrification for road and also racing vehicles. And so that was the main choice. We found very good components for such high voltage, and so we could, how can I say, exploit that technology to achieve the best performance of the bike. And the second question, I couldn't get perfectly what you meant. Please. The aerodynamics, sorry.
The aerodynamics study for the Ducati MotoE.
Yeah. the aerodynamics was studied in Ducati, again, both R&D and Ducati course. And I think we set the best compromise between aerodynamics and the consumption, because you know, the aerodynamics means also you have to have power to keep, for example, the motorcycle steady on the ground. Just to give you an example, we didn't use the wings that we use in MotoGP because we hadn't the problem to add the weight on the front, and again, wings takes some power from the bike.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks also to the journalists for their questions. Thank you to all of you for being here today. If somebody, thank you. If there are other questions, please send an email to motoe@eneleventi.org. And now it's time to see the Ducati MotoE on track. All of you are invited to move to the pit lane to look at Alex De Angelis in action. Thank you again, and we will see in Le Mans for the first MotoE race of 2023 season. Thank you so much. Thank you.